Welcome to Story Time with Gigi. Today I'm reading to you a story entitled Thumbelina. This story is being retold by Allison. The illustrator is Livia Coloji. This is a Cottage door book, which is a Parragon publication. There was once a poor woman who lived in a cottage. She had no husband, but she longed to have a child. One day she visited a fairy to ask for help. "You are a good woman," said the fairy, "so I will give you this magic seed. Plant it and water it, and you will see what you will see." The woman thanked the fairy and did as she was told. One day, then 2 days, then 3 days passed, and nothing happened. But on the 4th day, a tiny green shoot appeared, and on the 5th day, there was a flower bud with glossy pink petals wrapped tightly around its center. "What a beautiful flower you will be," smiled the woman, and she kissed it gently. With that, the petals unfolded, and in the center of the flower was a beautiful girl, the size of a thumb. The woman clapped her hands with joy. "I will call you Thumbelina," she cried, and she laid her new child in a walnut shell bed with a rose petal quilt. Thumbelina was very happy with her mother. Then one day, while her mother was away, an ugly, slimy toad crawled into the cottage. When she saw Thumbelina sleeping in the bed, she cried, "You'd be a perfect wife for my son." She grabbed the girl and crept out of the cottage the same way she had come. When Thumbelina woke up, she was sitting on a lily pad in the middle of a stream, with 2 warty toads staring at her. "This is your new wife," the mother said to her son. He opened his wide, toothless mouth in a grin, but all he could say was, "Croak, croak." "I don't want to marry a toad," said Thumbelina, and she started to cry. "You ungrateful girl," the mother toad scolded her. "You'll stay here until you stop crying." The 2 toads jumped into the water and swam away. Thumbelina sobbed and sobbed. Then a fish took pity on her and nibbled through the lily pad's stem until it floated free. Thumbelina sailed gently downstream and escaped from the toads. At last, she drifted to the riverbank and climbed into dry land. Suddenly, a big brown beetle grabbed her with his claws. "Put me down," said Thumbelina. "No," said the beetle. "You must stay with me and be my friend." The beetle carried Thumbelina to a clearing. Another, bigger, browner beetle was waiting for him there. He looked at Thumbelina and shook his head. "Oh, birdie, she's so ugly," said the bigger beetle. "She can't stay here." The 2 beetles argued and argued, waving their claws in the air and pulling poor Thumbelina this way and that, until at last Birdie gave in, and they let Thumbelina go. She ran off as fast as she could. Thumbelina lived in the country all summer long. She missed her mother, but had no idea how to find her way home. So she busied herself collecting wild berries and making friends with the birds and small creatures she met. Then winter came, and Thumbelina was cold and hungry and all alone. Luckily, a kindly field mouse found her and invited her to stay with him in his burrow. She was so grateful that she said yes at once. Life underground was warm and snug, but Thumbelina soon missed the sunshine. And then the mouse's friend, Mole, asked her to marry him. "I don't want to marry a mole," cried Thumbelina. "And though I like living with you, Mouse, I miss the sunshine." "You ungrateful girl," said the mouse and the mole together. So Thumbelina sadly agreed to marry the mole, and a date was set for the following summer. Thumbelina was miserable. Then one day, As she walked through the underground tunnels, she found a swallow, almost dead with the cold. She hugged the bird against herself to warm him. He slowly opened his eyes. "You have saved my life," said the swallow. "Come with me to the south, to the land of sunshine and flowers." "I cannot leave Mouse," sighed Thumbelina. "He has been so kind to me." "Then I must go alone," said the swallow, stretching his wings. "But I will return next summer. Goodbye." Then he flew away. Months passed, and the day Thumbelina had been dreading arrived, the day she would marry the mole. As she waited for Mole to arrive, the swallow appeared again. "Come with me now," he cried. "I will," said Thumbelina. So Thumbelina flew away to the south with the swallow. As she explored her new home, one especially beautiful flower opened in front of her. There, in the center, was a fairy prince, no bigger than a thumb, with butterfly wings. "Will you be my wife?" he asked at once. "I will," cried Thumbelina. So Thumbelina, wearing butterfly wings made especially for her, married the prince and became queen of the flower fairies. She did not forget her mother, and that very day arranged for fairy messengers to deliver a letter to her and a bouquet of the most beautiful flowers. And kind Thumbelina and her handsome husband lived happily ever after. The end. So what is the moral of this story? It's a good story, right? This story, Thumbelina is confronted, right? She's confronted with the toad who wants her to marry a toad. Is Thumbelina a toad? No, she is not a toad. Someone wants her to be his friend, right? But is she a beetle? No, she's not a beetle. She lives with the mouse. But the mole, who's his friend, wants her to be his wife. Is she a mole? No, she is not a mole. So she decides to constantly, be respectful. She's respectful, yes. And she turns those proposals down because she's not a beetle. She's not a mole. She's not a toad. She's been created by the fairies, right? She's a fairy. And the other part of the story is, so we want to know who we are, right? That's one thing. Know your identification and don't try to identify with what you're not. The other part is to always be kind. Her kindness to the swallow led her to where she belongs. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I look forward to sharing with you another story real soon. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.